Let's go inside out with our NBA insider, Ian Begley, who's been busy working the phones. And Ian, one significant name we've been hearing in connection with the Knicks is Gordon Hayward. Where does that stand?
Right. So Indiana and Boston were talking earlier today about a sign and trade that would send Hayward to Indiana and would send some Pacers players back to Boston. The problem was Boston, I'm told, wanted TJ Warren. They wanted Aaron Holiday. And Indiana had been reluctant to give up either of those guys in a deal. So I think Indiana and Boston are going to continue to talk. But Gordon Hayward, obviously, he's got some kind of solid offer outside of Indiana that he feels comfortable about. Is it the Knicks? I've been told that the Knicks didn't want to go 4 years for Hayward. They feel like they have a range that they're comfortable with for Hayward. And maybe Hayward sees them as his kind of backup school, so to speak, if things fall apart with Indiana. I think there's still a chance that he returns to Boston, but the Knicks are there. It just depends on if Boston and Indiana can get something done. If they can't, the Knicks could have the space to bring Hayward in.
Knicks fans holding out hope. Now, you've confirmed that guard Alec Burks has agreed to sign with the Knicks for 1 year, $6 million. How does he fit in with their free agency plans overall?
Yeah, this is just, I think, the idea here is that he was playing in Utah. Walt Perrin, the Knicks assistant GM, drafted him in Utah when Walt was in Utah. Johnny Bryant, the Knicks assistant coach, worked with Alec when he was in Utah. So there's familiarity here. Obviously, this was not, a plan A for the Knicks, but he was on their radar if kind of other things fell through. So you have a veteran guard here. You have somebody who can shoot the ball. He shot over 40% during certain portions of his career, so he can spread the floor for the Knicks. Interesting thing here, though, is the Knicks, teams believe, will be in on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the ex-Laker. And now with the Lakers having spent some money in free agency to sign Montrezl Harrell, the Knicks and Caldwell-Pope, there could be a match there, even with Alec Burks, because Caldwell-Pope could come to the Knicks on a big short-term deal and then become a trade chip, this season or going into next year.
Something to watch for. And you've also talked about potential interest in Carmelo Anthony. How realistic is his return to New York at this point?
I'll continue to say it. Some teams think it's going to happen. So based on that, I think there is a chance that this happens, a pretty good chance. And I think the chance is increased tonight when Portland went out and spent money signing Derek Jones in free agency. They re-signed Rodney Hood in free agency. And that leaves a smaller role for Carmelo Anthony in Portland. So that's just another sign that points to Melo potentially coming to the Knicks. I'm sure other teams will have interest in bringing Carmelo Anthony in, maybe even the Bucks now that Bojan Bogdanovic is not going to end up there. So he's going to have options. But I have to think if everything is equal, he ends up coming back to New York.